Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Friday morning edition of Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LaBear's Casino. Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan. TK joining us from Tremonti's Meat and Seafood in Baton Rouge. And I'm in an undisclosed location presented by Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. I was on Brian Haldane's show this morning with Guaranty Broadcasting, and he'll be at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame tomorrow with his daughter. It's open from Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 4:30 p.m. in Natchitoches. Go check it out. Really cool stuff. A lot of new stuff this year. And of course, we're presented by LaBear's Casino. Tite, am I hearing a little? I don't know if I might be hearing the speaker coming out of your laptop or something, or Bluetooth. I don't
I
know.
don't think.
I'm kind of getting like a double feedback kind of thing, but I hope the folks at home aren't hearing that. But today on Sports Shorts, of course, it's Rougarou Friday, which means it's Jerry Lane Enterprises fireworks at every Rougarou home game. So tonight, there you go, that worked. Middle of the seventh inning, we're going to be popping some fireworks, a 6-minute fireworks show, professional fireworks show, and we'll stop the game. So our seventh inning stretch is a little different than your seventh inning stretch, but it's also a lot going on tonight in Baton Rouge. The Rougarou needs your support. Going to have a huge crowd. Got a lot of USSSA teams that are in town for the Rec League World All-Star World Series. They'll be there. Mayor Sid Edwards throwing out the first pitch. Coach going to be throwing out the first pitch. We also have some other special guests. We're going to have fun jumps for the kids, Raising Cane's Run the Bases, fireworks, and oh, by the way, there's a baseball game that starts at 7:05. The number one team in the league, the Baton Rouge Rougarou, taking on the Acadiana Cane Cutters, and we owe them a little bit, Tommy. The Cane Cutters are 2-1 this week against the Rougarou, so trying to split that series tonight, and hope folks come on out.
Yeah, I really do. And I'm being told the sound is all good. So there we
Okay.
go. We thank Randy for updating us on that. But anyway, yeah, no, Rougarou, a couple of close ones over there in Acadiana, and out of Cane Cutters will come back down the road to Pete Goldsby Field tonight. Like I said, gates open at 6 and looking for a really big crowd there tonight.
10 games, 10 home games this month with the Baton Rouge Rougarou. From now until the end of the month, 10 regular season games on the calendar. So go check it out. 5 next week, I mean, at home, 4 the following week. And then we got a playoff game on July 29th. So a lot of baseball to be played this month, a lot of home games to be played this month. And we're going to have a ton of specials we'll tell you about each and every game. The Major League All-Star games on Monday. We've got the draft coming up on Sunday. The draft is super important for LSU baseball, for 2 reasons, Tommy. I'm interested to see what happens to Ethan Fry, because I think he has the best chance of coming back, which could impact LSU. He could be the Jared Jones light for LSU baseball returning. Ethan Fry would be a huge addition. I kind of expect him to be gone, but who knows? So that's something to watch. Where does he get popped? And then also, Chase Shores, I guess it's a little more for just where does he go? But Chase Shores is 6'8", throws 100 miles an hour, and didn't walk anybody in the postseason with 10 plus innings. So his stock just skyrocketed in the month of late May, early June. And wasn't enough, Tommy, for him for teams to believe in Chase Shores and be like, okay, he's fixed his issues. He's a dude. He can be in the big leagues in a year or two. And does Chase Shores now skyrocket into the back end of the first inning, or the sandwich pick, or the early second inning? And if not, does Chase Shores believe in himself enough to say, hey, I'm gonna come back next year and see if I can be a top 10 pick?
Yeah, it really is a lot of stuff for him to decide, And as we always say, you just need one team to like you, or one team to think you have that upside, you have that potential. You don't have to have 30 teams like you. So, that's going to be interesting. And, there's a couple other guys around the state that are going to be in that category. Like, do they go? But then it's so different now with NIL. So, I mean, if Shores, let's just say he goes 11th round, okay, which I don't think it would be that late. Well, then he'd have to weigh out, okay, what's LSU going to pay me? What can I make playing single A ball out in Savannah, Georgia, somewhere? So it's kind of we'll see what goes, but it's an interesting decision. It's a good decision to have. You got to decide what's best for you. And let's see, Carl Dunn said Fry may stay and play first base, but so it's a waiting game. We got to see how each player reacts to it and adjusts to it, and they got to make a decision that's largely financial. Like, what's better? Do I play in the LSU and the SEC again, or do I go ride a bus in the Midwest?
You're right, TK. I think it's such an individual decision. It's not just strictly about money. It's also about where you're at with your education, where you're at with your financial situation, with you personally and your family. What's your love for LSU? Do you have a girlfriend that you're going to marry that lives here? Like there's so many things that go into the equation of whether you stay or whether you go. I that when you play the game of, okay, well, how much would it take for you to go stay? You can't answer that. It's such an individual decision. But I would think it's super unlikely Chase Shores returns. I just the guy was so good, showed so dominant at the last month of the season. He looked like a big leaguer. And I think, look, I mean, I can't imagine he slips past the second round. I just would be stunned if that happened. What more do you want in a pitcher, Tommy, than 6'8", 100 with a wipeout slider? You know what I mean? That's it. So that's exactly what you're looking for. So I can't imagine he comes back. Ethan Fry is more realistic. And if Carl Dunn says he's got sources that say, I believe Carl the Cat.
Well, Carl Cal was at a Rougarou game that night, so that made him smarter. See, he went and
That's
watched
right.
the
That's right.
Rougarou.
That's
But
right.
no, I mean, again, only one team has to think, hey, Shores is a guy who we think can help us win. Because we're in a day of throw it as hard as you can for as many innings or as many batters as you can. And I think that'll play out. So, Ronnie, I got a draft story to tell you. I think you'll chuckle. But, back in the day when I was eligible for the draft, yes, the Cincinnati Reds did tell me, Julian Mock told me he was turning my name in, but I would be a late pick. Ronnie, when I was eligible for the draft, that's when every team drafted until every team passed. So in other words, they said Boston Red Sox. They said, we passed. Okay, now there's only 29 teams drafted. Atlanta Braves, we passed. There's 20. So there was 70, 80, 90 rounds, okay, until every team said, I don't want any more players. I didn't even get picked in the 90th round. So my guy from the Reds must have just been in a good mood trying to make me have a nice day by telling me that. But so anyway, that was my
Well,
draft story.
that's why I laugh. Nowadays with only 20 rounds, um, you're talking about 600 players roughly. Right, being drafted, a little over 600, and because of that. And we're talking about a world sport, not just the best players in the United States. We're talking about the best baseball players in the world, and so it's hard to get drafted, and teams don't want to waste draft picks anymore. They used to sometimes take a flyer. All right, we're going to throw a 19th round pick on a guy that we know is likely not to sign, but we want to draft and follow, which meant that they had his rights until till the next draft. So they would draft him knowing they're not going to sign him in the summer of 25, but maybe right before the draft of 26, make an offer to that player, and that used to be a game that some teams would play, or sometimes they would just throw out a pick, a wild card pick to a guy who was supposed to be a top 2-3 round guy. He wanted too much money, take him in the 20th, see if maybe you can negotiate all summer. Those things don't really happen anymore. And so because of that, if they draft you, they're drafting you because they think you're going to sign. It's not, and so they don't like to waste draft picks. And that's I have so many players, whether it's the Rougarou, LSU, anywhere else, that think they're going to get drafted.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. First off, they can't draft them all. There's not 40, 50, 60, 100 rounds like there used to be. It's only 20. So if you get drafted nowadays, it's much more impressive. That's why what LSU did, was it last year or in 23 when they had the most draft picks of any team, LSU team ever? Like, I think it might have been last year. That's super impressive because there's less rounds, but yet more draft picks going on at LSU than ever before. That tells you the talent that Jay Johnson's acquired.
Yeah, and one thing that has come from that is the improvement of college baseball because you've contracted the minor leagues several years ago. You know, teams used to have six, seven, eight teams in their farm system. Now they have four, maybe five. Some have three. Well, that's why you have Coastal Carolina and Murray State in Omaha, and you had Houston Christian in the tournament and other teams because more guys are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go play in the SEC. I'm gonna go play it in the ACC. I want to play college baseball, and that has helped college baseball a little more than some people think.
All Star game is on Monday. I mean, on Tuesday.
Tuesday,
The home run derby is on Monday. Where are you on the home run derby? Like it? Love it? Hate it? What?
I'm not. I don't get that much into the home run derby. Our first couple years, it was pretty cool, see guys smashing the ball way out of the park, and now and then they had to change it a lot. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was a pitcher. I don't like looking at home runs. I mean, I served up my share back in the day, but I don't get into it. Yeah, I'll find out who wins, and I may watch part of it if whatever if I'm flipping channels or whatever. So, but I'm not into it. Are you? Do you do the
Yeah, I
home run
like the
derby
home run
thing?
derby. I'm a fan of the home run derby. The one thing, and I'm a fan of the 3-point shooting contest in basketball and all those things. The only thing that I'll say and about the home run derby in Major League Baseball, and it's just like the dunk competition in NBA or 3-point shooting competition in NBA, is I just want the best players though. I want Steph Curry, and I want Larry Bird, and I want Michael Jordan, in those contests, and so I wanted Barry Bonds every year. Like I want those athletes, the best athletes, competing in it. I don't want a G League basketball player, winning the dunk competition. Not that he didn't deserve the last couple of years, but is he beating the best dunkers in the NBA? Some say no, and so that's my only thing is if we're going to do the home run derby, then give me the top 5 home run hitters in the league, at the All Star break. Give me those, give me the top 5. Maybe throw in a wild card, 1 or 2 or something or whatever. But like, make sure the guys hitting the home runs are there.
Well, and the other thing too is when all of that started, home run derby, 3-point competition, whatever, they got a check for that, and it mattered a little more than it does today because their salaries weren't through the roof. I mean, I can remember talking to Saints players in the '80s that man, hey, if I get picked for the Pro Bowl, that's 20 grand, and they were only making 95 grand. So if all of a sudden you get 20 to go to the Pro Bowl, you're not missing that. Well, that's when the 3 points started and all that, and they gave the guys a few dollars. They welcomed that money. Now, they still welcome the money, whatever amount it is, but it's not going to force those top 10 home run hitters to say, you know what, I'm going to go try to win that home run derby contest because I'm going to get X amount of money. It's a different drive, I guess. And, but I'm not saying I dislike it or I'm totally against it. It's just, I'm not as much into it as you, obviously.
What's that note you popped up?
Which one?
I don't know. You've popped up a couple. What are the notes?
We had Rachel Goff says great to see us, and Randy Jones loves to start his day off with Jumbo and TK.
Oh
I
well,
got
thank
another
you.
friend told me Dr. Jason Adams was at the Rougarou game the other day. He watches every day at lunch when he's eating his sandwich at his desk. Another friend of mine told me he's got it on at lunch every day. So that's the cool thing. We do it Monday, Wednesday, Friday mornings. 9 a couple minutes after. But a lot of people watch it at lunch. Some people watch it in the evening because I see that the views go way up now. And so we appreciate everybody. And that's why we always tell you to like and share this show because that helps Tremonti's, that helps Court Street Cafe, it helps LeBear's Casino and Hotel. I mean, it's a good thing. So like and share this show, whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, or X. Like and share this show. We appreciate it.
I do appreciate Dr. Adams. Good to see him the other night. A lot of AP baseball kids at the ballpark the other night. He wrote a nice uh, donation for the flood victims over in Texas. That wrote a check to the Cajun Navy, so appreciate that. I, the All-Star game, TK, for me, Major League Baseball, and I think we say this every year, it's my favorite All-Star game because it's really the only one where they really play the game still the right way. You're not going to get nobody's going to Pete Rose it at home plate and take out a catcher, but outside of that, they're trying to strike guys out. They're trying to hit home runs. They're trying to steal bases. They're trying to play the game to win and play it the right way. You can't say that about any other sport, any other All-Star game, whether it be hockey, baseball, basketball. It's just it's an exhibition of offense. And so I definitely like baseball for that reason.
And I like the fact that Tuesday night in Atlanta, they're going to wear their team uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have these concocted American League unis, National League unis that, got a little hideous in many people's opinion, not everybody's. So I think, I can remember as a kid when you didn't have a one game a week on TV, maybe two. And all of a sudden, the All-Star game, and you heard, oh, here's that guy from the Seattle Mariners I've been hearing about, or here's that guy from the Angels, and then they'd be in their uniform. I always thought that was so good. I'm really glad MLB made the decision to go back to that because that's what we'll have Tuesday night in Atlanta. The AL guys will have their AL road uniform on, and the NL guys will have their home uniform. Obviously, the game in Atlanta and NL City.
All right, TK. Well, we'll be tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 to noon on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. And of course, you can check us out on ESPN Radio in Lake Charles and Lafayette as well. We'll be at LeBear's Casino tomorrow in the sports book, the ESPN Bet Sports Book. So if you're around, come see us. Have some great lunch or breakfast over there at the ESPN Bet Sports Book. And tonight, Baton Rouge Rougarou. If you can't make it, go to TexasCollegiateLeague.com and watch it on the stream. Tommy on the call. Who's with you tonight on the play-by-play?
Jeff Palermo will be doing play-by-play tonight. I'll have the color commentary, and we're looking forward to it. I texted Jeff this morning, so we're all good. Want to see a big crowd. Gates open at 6. A lot going on, and come on out. The concession stand, and so much for the kids to do. It's great. We had a couple hundred kids ran the bases the other night, so that was cool. So come on out. Merchandise is for sale there. You got everything you need in the world of the concession stand and the cold beer, if that's your choice. Gates open at 6. First pitch will be a couple minutes after 7. We'll be ready for it.
Tremonti's Hamburgers. That's what you want to go get. All right, we'll be back. We'll be back on Monday morning for more Sports Shorts daily. We'll be talking, of course, about the All-Star game, about the weekend, about everything that happened in the world of sports over the weekend, Wimbledon, etc. For Tommy Christ saying I'm Ronnie Rance. TK, tell us about Tremonti's on the way out.
I will do that. Okay, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood right here on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge, down the street from Parkview Baptist. Here's the Friday special today, 3 o'clock. Boiled crab, boiled shrimp, $22.99. $23. You're getting some crabs. You're getting some shrimp. You got to call and reserve. You see the number on your screen, 225-751-7665. Got to call and reserve them at 3 o'clock because they will run out. They got plenty, but they're going to run out, especially if everybody's in the crab and shrimp mood today at Tremonti's. Tomorrow, they got the barbecue ribs, a great lunch special tomorrow. That's every Saturday. Load up for the weekend, Tremonti's Meat and Seafood on Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Hey, like we always say, don't forget to like and share this show. That helps everybody. And tomorrow morning, Sports Shorts Radio, 10 a.m. until 12 noon. On behalf of Ronnie Rance, I'm Tommy Christ saying have a great day, everyone. Happy weekend.